to Bill Flynn in the morning.
It is the Love Your Lawn Hour this morning. Our friends at GrowinGreen, who, by the way, Tommy Cowett is joining us this morning, one of the managers at GrowinGreen, and you are just literally minutes away from your departure. What's going on?
We're going out to Louisville, Kentucky for the 2015 GIE show, which is the Green Industry Expo. It's the largest trade show on earth when it comes to landscaping, lawn care, anything to do with the green industry. We actually own the green industry. I mean, it's not these environmental companies like solar companies and things like that. That we originally, the green industry, the landscape industry, nursery business, that's the green industry. That's the true green industry.
It really is.
Oh yeah, we had that long before there was solar power and all this push for, environmental friendly power and energy. And they stole it. But it's the Green Industry Expo, and we're still proud to call it the Green Industry. We're very proud of the green industry. And it's just massive.
It's got to be fun to go to this. I guess you get to see some of these folks maybe once a year kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be going to actually going out a day early because we'll be going to a bio summit, which is a meeting of the minds for people who do environmentally friendly lawn care.
Oh, okay. So you guys go share some ideas, kick around some concepts? Is that
yes,
the idea?
Basically, it's not just about the compost tea. It's all about the concept of this environmental friendly lawn care, which is sweeping the nation, which a lot of companies are still not shifting. I mean, the big national companies, they will never shift.
Why the resistance when you've got something that works?
They don't know how to do it. They don't have the knowledge or the time to put in and retool all of their equipment. They're just going to keep doing it the same old way and keep destroying everybody's soil and keep on feeding it, spoon-feeding it, getting it hooked on ammoniacal nitrogen and keep spoon-feeding that along until it crashes and burns, and then they get fired, and then they do a bunch of marketing, and they get their customers back, and, or they go buy a company that's built up a pretty good, base of customers. They'll just go buy them. They'll buy their customers, and the customers are like, what are you doing back over here? I was I thought I fired you. He's like, I bought you. I bought you as a customer. Well, you're fired again.
Well, and that does make, again, I think the case that we talk about in all kinds of different ways, but GrowinGreen is a different commodity.
Oh, yeah.
When people are shopping around for lawn services, for things to keep their lawn looking good, for the trees, for the shrubs, for the overall health of the soil, all of that, you guys are not doing it the way everybody else or a lot of the big companies are doing it.
It takes a long time to develop this level of expertise that we have at GrowinGreen. Under the roof, well over 100 years of combined experience. And, it's just tooling. We have a great operations manager, Chad Culbertson. He's coming with us. Actually, he's driving himself out. I don't know if he's going to drive his pickup because he wants to pick up some cool stuff when he's out in Kentucky.
Okay, yes.
Because he's going to go to this Corvette museum while he's out there. Now, we love seeing it. There's all these distilleries.
I was going to say, one of the things I've been told, if you ever in the Louisville area, the whiskey distilleries are an amazing thing to see.
Yes, they are. That's why, you get out there a day early, we might get a chance to go to one. But we certainly will be taking advantage of some of the spirits.
Say, you could maybe find some room in that pickup truck on the return flight here for
a barrel of good old Scotch bourbon whiskey.
But, I know in times past, because you guys get together in this Louisville event, literally sharing ideas, Jonathan has, people, when he speaks at these events, or you do, or other people at GrowinGreen,
sure,
people listen because you guys bring with you a track record of success, a history of challenges that you worked your way through as a business model,
sure,
but also, the expertise. you guys have been growing numbers of clients.
Yes, we have. A lot of it has to do with marketing, and we do market. And that's what part of this bio summit. It's not just about the mycorrhiza and the bacteria and the different fungi and that goes into a compost tea and all those additives. That's just one part of it. There's a lot to do with marketing with the bio summit. And how to attract new customers or how to train your employees to be better techs. That type of thing. It's all about that. There's a whole lot of training we'll be going through.
There was a time when if you wanted to have a business, you put one ad in the newspaper, and that's all the advertising you need to worry about 35 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Or one ad on the radio, or one ad on a TV station. But now with so many, platforms out there, so much
YouTube
social media
and Twitter and Facebook, you name it, man. We're there.
And it's a remarkable challenge to be able to get all of these various ways to talk and reach clients to be cohesive in their nature.
It's wonderful. It's so much fun now to be able to have this at your fingertips, with the computers, the technology we have out there available today. There's no reason why you can't constantly market.
And I'll tell you this, though, the greatest marketing out there, if the product that you're offering isn't what it needs to be, it doesn't take long for that marketing really to hurt you, because you're going to introduce yourself to people that then become disappointed with your product and say, hey, that's not for me.
Sure.
But you guys, and I'll tell you, yesterday I was out doing the Tommy Cowett routine in my yard.
Okay.
By then I was getting the leaves up, and I put a little bit of it in a mulch pile in the back like we talked about.
Yeah.
And,
right now's the time.
But when I cleared the leaves off, and they weren't real thick, but I mean, I got a lot of trees around. It's got to, something I got to do a lot.
Mm-hmm.
When I cleared the leaves off, the green grass, the lush, thick, fat grass.
Thick grass. Ooh, yeah.
That I had, it was a thing to behold. It was one of those things where I wanted to wave people over and say, hey,
check
take a look
this
at,
out.
yeah, take a look.
They see it. They see it.
Take a look.
Man, you pull into my neighborhood, and I think I talked about it on a previous show that I signed up all my neighbors around me. Boy, it's the most beautiful, like, pull in the neighborhood, and everybody's just glowing green.
Did you say glowing green?
I said glowing.
Glowing green with growing green.
Growing green, yeah.
Anyway, before Tommy heads out of town here, if you have a question about your lawn, how things are shaping up, maybe you've got some challenge spots, maybe you've had an issue with one of your trees, that kind of thing, you can call us at 896-1980 and have an audience with Tommy. And by the way, we're coming up now on that closing window of best opportunity to put in new seed. We'll get to that discussion and much more on the Love Your Lawn Hour. It's Tommy Cowett with Growing Green, 896-1980, our phone number. And by the way, the website for Growing Green, wonderful information there at GrowinGreen.com, GrowinGreen.com.
Call now. The number is 896-1980, AM 980, The Eagle.
Well, good morning and hi there. Bill Flynn this morning. It is the Love Your Lawn Hour. Our friends at Growing Green are working overtime these last several weeks, especially because the window to seed, the window to get things looking good and looking right, you guys have made... You got to make hay while the sun is shining, is the old saying.
Make hay, yeah, for the horses.
And you really have been out there. I know your technicians have been working long hours getting things done.
They are. They're winding it down. They've been putting in the time.
Well, this is it. I mean, this is the takeoff roll to get the grass, installed essentially.
Sure,
and,
get it in
already
the ground.
Started before we hit the cold.
Before frost, and you'll be gold.
You were just mentioning offhand a minute ago that you actually have worked on and routinely do work on large chunks of acreage that are for grazing, for horse farms and what have you.
And even small horse pastures as well. Hey, actually, Stu Epperson Sr., we treat his pasture over there off of Kirkley's.
Well, now here's the thing. If you're treating, a pasture, when I say treating, the kinds of things you do routinely at GrowinGreen.
Right. You got to use the right chemicals. Exactly. Because it's got to be safe for the horse's consumption and that type of thing. Right.
In addition to being maybe a family favorite, this animal may be worth thousands and thousands of dollars.
Tennessee
right?
walking horses around here worth $500,000.
So let's say, you got to take that seriously. And it really does drive home the point that what you're doing at GrowinGreen, I don't want to lose a $500,000
I can tell you a
horse,
story about a particular lawsuit that put a seed company out of business. Now, there's in grazing tall fescue, the horse really loves tall fescue. It's a great forage grass. But there's a symbiosis with a fungi called endophyte that lives in the tall fescue plant. And there's a symbiosis. What I mean by that is the fungi that lives inside that plant, the endophyte, it's helps the plant. It produces an alkaloid, which is like a poison. So it's almost like a natural insecticide being produced by the fungi inside the plant, so the plant doesn't get attacked by insects as much, and maybe even disease, but that hasn't been really proven, the disease part. But definitely the insecticide property of the endophyte producing this alkaloid.
So the fungi's got a comfortable place to live.
Yes.
And the fescue has got a protective element because that fungi is there, and that's the symbiosis you're talking about.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, now, you don't want to have endophyte fescue on a pasture because that alkaloid can also cause problems to the horse or cow.
Because it's a poison.
It is a poison. So they sell an endophyte-free tall fescue seed, and some was sold to some really high-end horses. This was probably about 20 years ago, I recall, and that seed company was sued for millions, put them out of business.
Holy moly.
Because the seed they were selling, which was supposed to be endophyte free, turned out not to be. And
well, even if it doesn't,
it really didn't damage or kill any horses, but it ruined their,
Well, if you got a horse that's coming up in a race or a competition, and they have a little bit of a setback, I mean, you're talking margins of performance that are just mere 0.002%
with those horses. Right. Absolutely.
And if that horse develops a skin rash or has a distraction,
exactly
or
what would come out, you would see a skin rash irritation on the horse. Yep, absolutely.
That's fascinating. And this goes back to the precision work that you guys do. I mean, it's nice to know that at my house I don't have a $500,000 horse grazing, but I do have some very beloved pets that walk around out there.
Sure. We're using chemicals in the way we do treatments with these all-natural products, the compost tea, and getting away from, the more harsh chemical treatments and going natural. We'll probably take this thing to another level where we won't be using hardly any herbicides anymore, maybe even limit the amount of fungicides we're using and go strictly with an organic way to do it. And the repeat applications, the key is the balance in the soil and your microorganism population. You want to get like a 50-50 ratio of fungi to bacteria. Good guys. Where these big chemical companies or big lawn care companies screw up, and even farmers, if you're using the ammoniacal fertilizers, the old harsh stuff, you're going to shift more to bacteria. And that's lazy. That becomes a ghetto in the soil where you just got this population of do-nothings doing nothing for the plants. And then everything declines. But you can go feed them. You can give them food stamps. They're fine. And then they'll perk back up for a little while. But after that wears off, it crashes.
But you're saying that ultimately that imbalance in the soil.
Imbalance. So what we're doing is constantly keeping it in balance with the compost tea applications. And they're very nice. In fact, they clean up a lot of toxins in the soil. This type of thing where your dog becomes in a much healthier environment. Your dog, your cat, whatever you have running around on your property.
Well, we talked about the horses grazing from time to time. As you know, dogs will say, hey, this little patch of grass looks pretty delicious. I'm going to jump in on that. So, I mean, these dogs can ingest these things, and I don't know that necessarily it's going to have the same because they're not grazing animals. But I mean, if there are toxins in there and you have a very sensitive or, on the edge older dog, I mean, these things could cause a problem, I suspect.
Sure. And some of these microorganisms are used in a lot of different pet products, the probiotic products for your pet, where they're ingested. And it's, like yogurt for the lawn is what we're doing, where these things, the probiotic, I guess, Dyna dog, whatever you hear a lot of commercials about, Dino dog or whatever. These things contain microorganisms, bacteria, lactobacillus, and it helps with the digestion of the dog. The dog's coat looks better. The dog put additive to his food, to his water, and his coat's going to look a whole lot better, his fur and everything.
Well, and just thinking how life unfolds, you've got an animal that you have in your yard that's been treated by GrowinGreen, and maybe you have children or maybe a grandchild over to the house, and that dog's been rolling around out there having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And, the last thing you want is that little child to be exposed to things that would be toxic, maybe even from the fur of the animal. So GrowinGreen, way ahead of the curve on these kinds of things. It's not just about making your lawn look and feel great under your toes and your bare feet. It's much more of a total picture approach.
It is. It's a healthy thing.
We will come back and discuss more on AM 980 The Eagle. It's the Love Your Lawn Hour.
Call now. The number is 896-1980. AM 980 The Eagle.
Hi there. It is 9:36, 24 minutes till 10 o'clock. Things are moving quickly on the program today, and down the road on the way to Louisville will be a number of key players from GrowinGreen for a national, really it's kind of an international gathering of people. I guess you get people from all over the world come to this event.
Yeah, this is the largest in the world when it comes to landscape, lawn care, everything.
Well, now, I just, real quick on that, this is the newest innovations in thinking, and you mentioned marketing is a part of it, but also all kinds of different toys and devices, right?
Equipment. That people probably come more for this than anything else, which is the 20 acres of demonstrations where you can go ride anything you want, test drive anything. It's
a toy land.
It's a toy land. I know a guy named Randy Benegay, he's one of our customers in Greensboro, and he had the idea of having like a backhoe rodeo kind of business where you set up some fun equipment like backhoes and bulldozers and things like that and charge people to come out into a field area and just play around. Dig holes.
See, that could be cool. I would enjoy that. See how this thing works.
Have fun on a dingo and, zoom around on a ditch witch. And, the mowers, a lot of people notice the mowers, the people riding around on some of these fancy new mowers that we see out there all the time in the landscape. Those will be set up in different areas like Kawasaki and Husqvarna and Toro, Exmark, all these companies. They have cones and set up courses.
Oh, really?
And you can ride them around and you just
like Grand Prix kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah, they're having a blast out there. It's just nonstop.
One thing I've been intrigued is to see the innovations in, as a homeowner, some of the things that are certainly available to us now. And, of course, if you live with trees on your lot or near you as a homeowner, you need to have a small chainsaw. But I hear the industry is really moving into high-powered electric devices.
Absolutely. Yeah, getting away from the emissions issue with gas-powered motors. Of course, if you charge up a battery-operated piece of equipment, that's coal. That came from Bellows Lake.
Yeah.
And the power plant.
But for a lot of folks, you think, man, last thing I got a pretty good-sized tree here, electric chainsaw. But the RPMs and the power output of some of these things is really ramped up in the last few years.
These lithium batteries are getting really, really fancy and very, very high-powered and hold the charge a lot longer. I mean, I was playing around with the chainsaw last year there, Husqvarna chainsaw that had every bit of power as my still.
Really?
Gas-powered. And
see, I need to hear that.
It would last about 30 minutes on the charge, but they always come with two batteries. Okay. So, who uses a chainsaw for more than like an hour at a time anyway? I mean, you kind of got to take a break from it.
Yeah, they're not near as loud, are they?
No, and they're not near as loud. Not near. They're not loud at all.
So you can actually take the headphones off.
Sure.
Keep the eye protection on.
Definitely eye protection. Yeah.
That's intriguing. And one of the examples that comes to mind is where the electric and electronic difference is. You know, for years and years we had those hand blow dryers in men's rooms that unless you put your hands under there for 23 minutes, they would be soaking wet. You know, but now we got these
high power.
I mean, and it will distort the skin on your fingers. I mean,
it'll blow the hair off your
Yeah,
head.
it really. It's so similarly. I'm wondering about blowers and other devices that are all
they've
going
got
electric.
backpack blowers like that. You know, in California, you can't even run a backpack blower anymore, not a gas-powered one.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of this has to do with not just the emissions from the fuel, and it's particles. Where with a backpack blower or any type of blower, you're stirring up a lot of dust particles, and that's another angle the environmentalists are taking against the industry. Yes.
Ooh.
So
Well, I mean, is it because of spores in there?
Yes, all
is that
kinds
part
of little
it, or what?
particulate. Yeah, and they say there's people are going to ingest that, or they're going to breathe that, inhale that. You know, you can't have that. Don't blow your dust around. You know, even though the wind's doing it, the wind's allowed to do it.
Well, yes. Mother Nature has a special pass.
Yeah, she's allowed.
Special privilege. By the way, just another note of in my own case, in my neighborhood, there's a couple of fully sodded yards that are really nice. But since working with GrowinGreen, my yard is, it's kind of now in that class of really great looking lawns.
Yes, you are.
And I didn't spend the $40,000 to get the sod in there, and
exactly. I tell that to a lot of folks.
Thing.
That's the nice thing about seeding a lawn. We can get you to sod quality pretty quickly. Within about a year.
It's really coming along.
Sometimes. And within a year, if everything goes right, if we seeded it at the right time, if you got prepped ahead of time, if you were on the program a little bit, we got all the weeds cleaned up. It might take about a year to do it. We can get you from a crappy lawn to sod quality for a fraction of the cost.
And if you think about that, sod quality, the cost of doing that.
We've done it many, 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 many times, over and over.
I mean, if you're starting from absolute dirt and you're moving in and you want to have, I mean, I understand sometimes those decisions are made, but man, it's so, the idea of losing that investment to either
I've seen it this year,
a lower quality
with the heat that we had back to back, 90-degree days, over 40 of them, and sod put down in the summer this year did not fare well in some cases.
So it's almost like starting over again after you put all that time, effort, and money.
We had
into
to go back over the top of several yards that were sodded by someone that failed. And you're looking
That's
at
an
that
expensive
sod and
failure.
you're going, man, that was $5,000 worth of sod. Just the sod, not the labor.
And for
now-
$5,000, you're going to get a pretty long run of service from somebody like GrowinGreen.
Get probably a good 5 to 10 years of service from GrowinGreen.
Now think about
that kind of money.
Wow,
yeah,
that's a remarkable
for their lawn. And I'll tell you, it's I'm losing my train of thought on this one particular incident, but it was that's what we have been able to do is with seed is to get that sod quality. And, from seed and in a fraction of the time. Oh, yeah, here's what I was talking about. Just wanted to bring this up with synthetic turf. I was doing some numbers on this with a friend of mine on Greensboro College's new athletic field, which cost $1.5 million to install it. Now, that doesn't count the maintenance or anything of that $1.5 million field, but I took the numbers and I crunched everything that we do on that field.
All right, hold that thought. We're going to keep this and answer that question on the backside of this break. Calculating at
how many years of lawn care they could have got for $1.5 million.
From GrowinGreen. It's the Love Your Lawn Hour. We'll be back in just a moment with the answer to this intriguing question.
Call now. The number is 896-1980, AM 980 The Eagle.
Good morning. It is 9:46, the last segment this morning of our Love Your Lawn Hour with Tommy Cowett of GrowinGreen. Let me make sure you know how to reach GrowinGreen at growingreen.com, GrowinGreen.com. You can also reach him at 1-866-LAWN-HELP, H-E-L-P, 1-866-LAWN-HELP, and you will get the folks at GrowinGreen who really do just a fabulous job of taking maybe a problem lawn and turning it around, even a lawn that you've been struggling with for years, and you know how hard it is to get some good results. Let the folks at GrowinGreen put a pair of fresh eyes on it and say, nature has a different plan than you do on your lawn. What about this? What about taking this area, letting nature kind of have it as a moss bank or maybe a natural area, and then you got the grass that's going to grow over here, and we'll help you with that. So anyway, you were telling us before the break about the cost, in this case, of artificial turf.
Sure.
At a local
It's astounding.
institution. It was what now?
Greensboro College spent $1.5 million on a synthetic field. They're not the only ones that have a synthetic field.
Now, why do people, athletic directors or sports-centered folks, why are they putting these in? What is the advantage they see?
You would think it would be maintenance-free, but it is anything but maintenance-free. And
Now, what is an artificial turf? I mean, what literally
it's
is in
basically carpet coming out of Dalton, Georgia, where most of the carpet is manufactured in this country, and it's usually laid down on a paver base, like a paver stone, probably a couple feet deep of gravel bed, and then on top of that, they'll put a paver base, which is just like granite dust. That goes down. And then sometimes you'll have an E-layer one where there's 2 layers of carpet. Or you'll have a backing or a foam pad underneath. But sometimes the carpet itself that comes from Dalton is just laid right out on top of that granite dust and flat, okay? And this has a pretty good pile. I mean, these couple inches. Shag carpet, it looks like shag carpet because what they're going to do then is brush in crumb rubber, which is tires ground up, which is not a safe thing. People don't understand it yet. They really haven't done all the testing, and it's a suspect carcinogen.
Well, when you go down, and if you're talking about an athletic field and you take a tumble and you get a mouthful of not soil, but this stuff.
Oh, this is
that
nasty
happens.
What they're pulling out with this, they've got this particular machine that vacuums it and brushes it up. And you've got to go back over the top with that machine, a Vertitop, and it brushes it upward, and then that you can replenish the crumb rubber after that. And these fields have to be replaced after about 10 years.
So you got to start all over again
after
you
do.
a decade.
You've got to pull the rug and replace it.
And you got the Zamboni-like thing for ice that now they're using it on the...
You got to use that. That's like your mower. They can have tears and rips in them, too. So, that's another problem. And I just don't get it because I did the numbers. And if we did everything that our athletic field division offers to like a Bermuda grass field, and they employed that for the $1.5 million, they could have lawn care on that field for 250 years.
My gosh.
Yeah.
And that would be real grass. That
Real
would
grass.
be real soil.
Yeah, and that doesn't take into account, the cost of living increase over the time. But all I'm saying is if everything was static, we did it today and looked at a lawn care program, they could buy that for 250 years.
That's a pretty long run.
I'm telling you, man. $1.5 million is a lot of money for one athletic field.
That is.
2
really.
acres, yeah.
I guess, is it part of it that if it, it photographs well at all times of the year, is that part of what drives the artificial?
Looks damn good. I'll say that. Looks damn good. That High Point University field looks awesome. Wakes field looks awesome. I mean, you got to say, it's just perfect. It's picture perfect all the time. But they really heat up, though. In the summertime, boy, they got to cool them down. They still need irrigation to cool down the field.
So the idea that you would have a cost savings on artificial turf is out the window.
I would say so.
Based on some of the calculations.
Absolutely, and the risks are not there, are all kinds of risks involved.
Before we wrap up the show today, I do want to spend a minute to talk about, and I know this is important for you, the You know, we're coming in the season where we've got a lot of leaves that are going to be coming even
down.
if maybe not on your lawn, they blow down the road from your neighbor's lawn or across the fence or what have you. Can you talk a little bit about the best way to get the best bang for the buck, getting that leaf off of the green surfaces that you want to have sunlight for, and then what you do with that in the right mixture?
Well, you know what I do is I've got natural areas around the perimeter of the lawn, and I blow my leaves right in there, and I'm done. Now, I can take some leaves and compost them, which I do, and I will be doing that. And anybody can do this with maybe some pallets. I actually have just some wire fencing that I've constructed a little compost bin. And I have a bunny rabbit, my daughter's bunny rabbit. We use his bunny manure, and we mix that with leaves to make this awesome compost that I'll make compost tea out of in the spring and the summer to feed my plants with, or add it to my raised bed garden, like tomato plants.
One rabbit.
Yeah, one rabbit.
And he's really helping your lawn.
Sure. Only need about 20%, 30 to 20% of his manure to about 70 to 80% leaves, and mix those together, and that'll heat up, and it just decomposes very quickly. It makes this awesome, rich compost, which is full of all kinds of life microorganisms.
All right, now talk to me a little bit about it. Let's say I want to do this in my backyard, but let's say I don't have a bunny rabbit. Maybe I'm going to use cow manure or some other accelerant.
My uncle just called me and said, hey, I bought a couple trash can fulls of horse manure.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to do this. He's going to be mixing in a barrel composter that he bought and making it, turning this thing. I use a pitchfork to turn mine,
mm-hmm.
but he's actually got a fancy one, with a door on it and all this.
Oh, okay. Well, see, now that may be the answer to the question I had, because if you have a compost area that you're going to do in the backyard, and you also have pets that go in and out of the house, let's say, which is not uncommon in this, for a lot of us. The last thing I want is for my dogs to get intrigued and start rolling around in the compost.
You want to have a bin and kind of keep it protected with a little front door on it so they don't go in there. They don't need to be going in there. Yeah.
That does save for them. It's I'm taking all the fun out of it.
And put it kind of in the back, get it. You don't want that like out in the open where people see it or anything. Kind of like tuck it away in a place where you might even be able to set it up to where you can open the front of it and blow the leaves directly into the bin.
I see. Yeah.
And then throw your green manure down on top of that. But
so, and once you have
wet it,
once you've had that decomposition happen, you end up with that really rich compost. Are you just kind of putting that over top of the grass over time in little bits?
Oh, man,
areas?
you could,
tell me
any
where you
bare spots that you have, that's the best thing you could possibly do. Mix it with some seed and just go around and use that to fix all your bare areas.
It's almost like magic. Did you think?
It really is.
Wow.
It's not magic. It's true Mother Nature working right there.
Yeah. And so if you use the seed, and talk to me about the seed that you like so much, and this is kind of the last best window to take advantage of this. You're still selling the seed,
the Water Saver Tall Fescue blend, from Barenbrug. Yep,
which is a very high quality,
the best
seed
you can get, bar none, in the world. Yes,
and we say that because the percentage of
there's zero weed seed in it. The stuff has been tested. These varieties are just outstanding performers for disease resistance, heat resistance, drought tolerance. You name it, they're great. I mean, these guys are great performers, top of the NTEP, National Turf Evaluation Program. They've all performed great. And, hey, we still have some on hand, but, we'll be running. Hopefully, we won't be carrying much over.
Well, you've got a great, efficient operation, and I want to wish you guys a safe bit of travel to Louisville for the national show that's going to be so exciting for you. And I know that a lot of people are going to be picking the brains of people like Tommy Cowett and Jonathan Rigsby at GrowinGreen to find out how it is that you guys have done so well with your company model, but also with the number of people that are getting really great results rapidly.
Sure. And LYL, love your lawn. That's the goal.
That's what we're doing right here and right now. And 1-866-LAWN-HELP is the phone number. for Growing Green. And let me encourage you to visit the website, too. There's an Ask the Expert button you can ask questions about. That's at GrowinGreen.com, GrowinGreen.com. Hey, I'm Bill Flynn. Thanks for joining us.